Alright. We got a death battle going on, everybody. We got a new death battle. Alright. It's been a minute. I've been waiting for this to drop for the longest. I ain't gonna lie. Well, I mean, new JJK trailer? We'll watch it afterwards. This is the main priority. Main priority. You know what it is. Tight shit. You know what I mean? Okay. What's the one? This one? Antman versus Adam. Antman versus Adam. Okay. Short man versus short man. Short man syndrome. Okay.
So to sponsor Blackcrosses, 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 Team Nauseous, Team Nauseous.
All right, cool. Nice.
Antman, Marvel's founding member of the Avengers.
The Atom, DC's legendary mighty might.
Good things come in small packages.
The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
We're just trying to get these out of the way.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Did you know that ants can lift 50 times their own body weight? That'd be like if you lifted a car straight over your head.
I did, thanks to my fun fact of the day calendar. Also, Hawaiian pizza was invented in Canada yesterday.
Well, I bet your calendar didn't tell you that Dr. Henry Pym, aka Hank, was considered a genius at a very early age. By 3 years old, doctors declared that he was smarter than both his parents combined.
He eventually majored in biochemistry and...
Dr. Henry Hank Pym. He's 6 feet tall, natural weight 135 pounds, biochemistry major, and cybernetics minor. Knows judo, karate, and wrestling. Headmasters of Avengers Academy. One of the top 5 smartest people alive. Aliases: Ant-Man, Giant Man, Yellow Jacket, the Wasp, Scientist Supreme. Interesting. Okay.
Became one of the most successful scientists in his field. He had big ideas.
I have a lot of you. I never did watch. I don't know how I never did. I never watched the first, like, the original, like, or the first Ant-Man movie, bro. I did not watch, like, the first Ant-Man. How did I never see that? Like, how did I never see Ant-Man, bro? I don't know why I never did. I just never did that stuff. You did? I didn't. Damn, bro. That's something I actually didn't get to see. I don't know why I never did. I just didn't. I don't know. Wait, Chad, did anyone here? Did y'all ever see Ant-Man and the Wasp? Or no, or what was new Ant-Man? What was the new Ant-Man movie that just dropped recently? Was it Ant-Man and the Wasp? That was the new one. Or was something else? I forgot what it was called. Yeah, y'all. Does anybody see it? I swear, I did not. No one. It was good too, bro. Why did no one talk about it though? The quantum realm. Yeah, the quantum realm. Yeah. How come no one talked about it, bro? I have not heard anything. Like, there were no post on Twitter. There were, like, no talks about it. No one said anything. It was like, it came out, and then it just, that was it. No one talked about it. My homeboys even, like, we even see the movie or nothing, bro. You know what I mean? I could watch it whenever, but still, it's like, no one talked about it, so I don't know. Shit kind of crazy, but, hey.
Size of cargo to reduce shipping costs.
Bar fell off.
Logistics.
All of which...
Their peak was during Infinity War and Endgame. That was Marvel's peak, man. After that, it was downhill from there. You know what I mean? I just, yeah. Shit was tough. It's all about DC now. Unpause and talk. I'm making this for a video, bro. I can't talk over the video because then the people are going to complain about it, Xena.
Made him a laughingstock in the scientific community and sparked a long-lasting insecurity and need to prove himself.
But he did it. He developed a working
Josh.
serum. He went from
Don't let me pause again.
to Christmas.
I'll pause again.
The much better stuck.
Better shut up.
Bean and Live.
So, naturally, he tested the serum on himself, like any self-respecting scientist would, and shrank down to the size of an ant.
And just when things started going south, a sweet little ant, let's call her Aunt Hathaway, swooped in and led Hank safely back to his lab where he could return to full size.
Hank then harnessed the serum and became the superhero, Antman. Along with his new identity came a fascination in entomology, which makes total sense. Ants are fascinating.
Did you know that ants can talk to each other in a bunch of different ways? Through touch, sound, or even sharing information by barfing at each other.
It's actually called trophallaxis, and they're not barfing, per se. It's more like passing food mouth to mouth.
Gross! Hank figured out how to
Nasty.
communicate with his new pets. Not by barfing,
Bugs gross
but
me
by
out,
creating
bro.
a cybernetic
All
helmet
bugs gross
that
me
mirrors
out.
an ant's antenna. And
I
he's
hate all
even
bugs.
developed genuine relationships with
I'm
some
Bugsist.
ants, like Ulysses as ant here.
But he didn't stop there. Hank developed a lot of amazing
Oh, wait, I got to see the piece
Ants,
real quick.
like
Hold up.
Ulysses as ant here.
But he didn't
Cybernetic helmet, Cyberno helmet, insects, Stinger pistol, Ant-Man suit, image inducer camouflage, toolbot, size pellets, and shrinking gas.
stop there. Hank developed a lot
Hey,
of
roaches
amazing
with
tech
a
like
passion.
Stinger pistol that
Fuck
focuses
roaches.
bio-
Cellular disruptor gun, microscopic cybernetic sensors, portable PIM, pocket holes, PIM particle stream device, portable communicator, jetpack, racer tech, neutral inhibitor, nylon glass.
energy into a stun beam, and image-inducing camouflage to mask himself as an ant. It worked so well it fooled Reed
Yeah, Arsenal
Richards,
for
the
it.
smartest guy on the planet.
He also built a suit that runs on that nifty serum he made back in his lab. It lets him shrink thanks to the newly discovered PIM particles, named after himself. Ah, classic Hank.
And the PIM particle is the key to unlocking the fundamental constants of the quantum mechanics at play here. They enable you to decrease the distance between atoms. However, in order to do that, he'd have to change the Bohr radius, the ratio of electron mass to the distance the electrons orbit an atom's nucleus.
Well, of course. Like how when you make a bagel pizza, you can't fit the whole pizza on the bagel. Believe me, I've tried. It's too small. You just gotta put less on.
Sure, Boomstick. So the PIM particles are actually displacing mass to an alternate dimension in order to maintain that ratio.
Oh, it's like having a second bagel to put the rest of your pizza on. I get it.
But if that were true, he shouldn't be able to punch with full-size strength.
Wait. PIM particles are responsible for the strength of Thor-level characters like Wonder Man, and have let Hank as Giant Man match strength with Hercules, who can lift the entire universe. What the fuck? PIM particles were conferred to boost others to Hercules level in strength in Avengers West Coast annual vault. Okay. Well, I mean, that would make sense since Ant-Man is like strong as fuck when he's smaller too. So.
Strength if he has less mass.
But
And
damn.
he's definitely lighter, because otherwise he'd crush the sweet
I mean,
antsy
the
riders
universe-
like Vincent Van Gogh here.
Good
His
question.
mass is being replaced with massless neutrinos, but that doesn't
Really good
adequately
question.
explain how he can have less mass and seemingly more mass at the same time.
Sure it does, Wiz. Trust Pim and his particles. Look at the guy. He's explaining the whole thing while wearing a lab coat. What's more trustworthy than that? You're the exception.
You think you understand this?
Oh, of course. He's small but strong. You said something about a boar, so I guess you wanted a ham on that pizza, but I already made the pizza.
Will you take that coat off?
No. Oh,
Ew.
Regardless, there is virtually no limit to Hank's
His shrink is also superior to Scott Lang's, who shrunk down smaller than literal concepts that were being removed from reality. Smaller than literal concepts that were being removed from reality by celestial defenders. Smaller? What? How the fuck
ability
is
to
that?
shrink. He can go beyond subatomic, down to the underspace, a plane of existence below all realities in the Marvel universe.
and Hank has
See,
literally
it's my
changed his
birthday.
biology. He's
Happy birthday,
created
Glock.
his own chemical makeup to prevent anyone
bro?
else from changing.
What was it? Random particles. Shrinking can increase the size of himself or others through touch or blast. Growing can increase the size of themselves and others through touch or blast. Field naturally generates a field of PIM particles due to a long time exposure. Sonic Shot, Thunderclap, Super Bro.
Changing his size, and he's used Pym particles so much, he's now got an energy field around him that lets him change the size of people or objects on the fly, through touch or by straight up firing Pym particles in the air.
He's never shy about using them either. He eventually supplied his wife, Janet Van Dyne, with some Pym tech to become the Wasp, his partner in crime fighting.
The two ended up rubbing shoulders with A-listers like Thor, Iron Man, and the Hulk to take down Loki. Ant-Man and the Wasp were actually the ones that captured him and pitched the idea of forming the Avengers.
Unfortunately, Hank's insecurities started to creep back in, and he felt that if he wanted to keep up with the big heroes, he was going to have to think bigger.
Enter a bunch of those Pym-powered alter egos like Yellow Jacket and Giant Man, where he can grow anywhere from 12 feet tall to so big he can enter the overspace.
Defeated Ultron multiple times, former chairman of the Avengers, condensed vision into a black hole against graviton, contained sizes in a nanosecond, fought evenly with Asgardian-powered villains, grew beyond the macroverse into overspace, the realm of abstracts, called Reed Richards a bitch to his face. Chat, is y'all calling Hulk a bitch to his face? I'm just not gonna do that, man.
The polar opposite of the underspace.
That's sentence right there, man.
Eternity, who called him Earth's scientist supreme. Something he won't let you forget.
Hank pushed himself to these insane heights, even though he knew
Yeah,
the strain on his body could be fatal.
But he simply didn't care and kept pushing himself.
Hulk a bitch now.
Thus, his
Well, yeah, I mean,
greatest
he is a
and worst
bitch now.
creation was born. Ultron.
Yep,
talking about-
all the Tin Man Tron.
I'm talking about before Professor Hulk, before they make him
but
before he
the
turned
mass
into a
murder
bitch.
butt thing turned out pretty much the same. Big swing and a miss there.
The fallout from Ultron left Hank in a bad place, to say the least. His guilt made him feel like an utter failure, and that his best work was behind him. This led Hank to do unspeakable things.
A real low-life move.
Whoa.
And even though poor mental health doesn't excuse this behavior, it was clear that Hank needed help. He suffered multiple mental breakdowns, endured the physical toll of the Pym particles, and had bipolar disorder that went undiagnosed for years.
So Hank finally did the best thing he could. He acknowledged his problems, got the help he needed, and committed to self-improvement.
And with that help, Hank slowly started making things right. He rebuilt the West Coast Avengers, gave Scott Lang his blessing to become the second Ant-Man, and finally defeated Ultron.
He created a backdoor Trojan infiltration code to defeat Ultron that was so advanced, it went on to replicate and evolve all on its own to create a new species made up of artificial intelligence.
They don't call him the god of modern AI for nothing. Hank has showed over and over again that he's an integral part of the Marvel Universe.
Not just by ways of his scientific contributions or victories in battle, but by proving that heroes come in all shapes and sizes. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp.
So initially, I mean, look, I don't know anything about Adam really, so I mean, I can't really. I mean, I was know about the show, his whole bio and shit, but I don't know anything about Adam. But initially, it looks like Ant-Man might just win here. I ain't gonna lie. But let me see.
It can be easy to
I'm
spend
not gonna
all
jump
your
to
time
conclusions
on your
here
work,
real
your
quick.
friends,
I
your
wanna
family.
actually see
But
what-
how much time do you
With elements.
Skip this bullshit. We ain't here to see all that.
Ray Palmer was born your average human-sized person. He grew up in the Northeast, studied physics at Ivy.
Go sleep. Good night, Marty. Dr. Raymond Palmer, natural height 6 feet, weighs 180 pounds, has a PhD in physics, knows judo and gymnastics, trained by the Justice League, learned sword fighting from the Catharthans, originated the myth of Aladdin's lamp.
University and did everything Mama and Papa Palmer told him to do. Probably.
Everything was pretty typical for Ray until one fateful night when he took a walk to take his mind off a frustrating experiment and saw a meteor fall from the sky.
He ran off to the crash and found himself a life-changing piece of a white dwarf star, and immediately started messing around with it. Who wouldn't?
He discovered that he could focus ultraviolet rays through it and shrink inanimate objects. There was just one problem. When he shrunk things, they exploded. Every time.
I do not see the problem.
Oh.
Sounds like he found a foolproof way of blowing stuff up. Case closed.
Ray was determined to figure out how to shrink objects without blowing them up. But first, he went on a hike with his nature club. And as a fellow scientist, I have to question his priorities.
But hey, it seems to work for him. I support it. Different hikes for different mics, am I right?
While in a cave, the ceiling suddenly collapsed, trapping everyone inside. After searching high and low for another exit, Ray found a small opening and had an idea. He could try to shrink himself down and get help, even if it meant he might explode before he got the chance.
But he didn't explode. I hope this story has a happy ending at least.
Perplexed, Ray determined there must have been something special about him that made him uniquely immune to the explosive fate. Something super scientifically convenient that we never get any more information on.
So he got to work and created himself a suit to harness the power of the white dwarf star and became the Atom!
Atom uses the white dwarf fragment.
Let's see. Shrink yourself and others to microscopic levels through touch or via equipment. Mass alteration, controlling his body's mass. Rearrange atoms. At a shrunken state, he can manipulate the atoms of people and objects. Mind manipulation. At a shrunken state, he can make mental suggestions. Nuclear blast. By re-expending a molecular fracture charge, he can create a small nuclear blast. Phasing. He can shrink himself small enough to pass through objects. Damn, what the fuck? Riding air, flight, riding air or light path speed, mass alteration. Okay.
To decrease his size,
There are a lot of
control
advantages here.
over his density, which makes a lot of sense
Lots of
considering that
advantages
white
here.
dwarfs have the mass of a
Go
star,
on.
like the sun. But their volume is more like the Earth's, making them among the densest objects in space.
Just a teaspoon of the stuff could weigh up to 100 tons. That's one strong spoon.
When Atom shrinks and shifts his weight, he's actually sending his extra mass to a dimension called the mass zone.
Where, Atom could
Mass
maybe live forever. At one point, Ray's apprentice, Ryan Choi, was murdered by Deathstroke, but willed some of his mass to the mass zone and was able to survive in that dimension. So these guys can potentially cheat death, but would be stuck there without any outside help.
But from one scientist to another, what's
What?
most impressive is Ray's creation of the Bio Belt. That's what allows Atom to use the power of the white dwarf.
Biobelt is made of the white dwarf star's sword dipped into Catarthan poison. Metal knuckles, shrinking blanket, crossbow, miniature blaster, molecular destabilizer, dimension vibrator, magic satchel.
And shrink while maintaining any weight, from immaterial to his full 180 pounds. There's even been times where it's stated that he was able to become almost as dense as a white dwarf star itself for a few seconds.
The belt is also how he can travel through phone lines or through the air on currents or light beams. Over time, Ray has
Not
spread
gonna
out
lie.
the white dwarf power to other parts of his suit, and now the bio belt acts as a utility belt.
I think
for
Adam might
sharpened
win
weapons
here.
and tech.
I'm
It
not
also
gonna lie.
prevents his size or
Adam
mass
might
from
win
being
here, I'm
altered
not gonna
by any
lie.
outside
This nigga's OP
forces.
as shit.
While he can only increase his size back to his natural 6 feet in height, his ability to shrink is near limitless. He can travel between subatomic space to the microverse, the foundation of all reality in the DC universe, where atoms
Wait,
become
what?
the microverse.
Shrink even smaller, given that he was able to reach sizes that Dr. Manhattan was unable to affect. What? With reality warping, meaning he would have to shrink smaller than ideas and concepts. Okay, so yeah. So basically, yeah, this nigga
The
is basically, he
foundation
might
of
actually
all
win this.
reality in the DC universe.
He might
where
actually win
atoms
this.
become the size of planets.
Typically, he
insanity.
can increase back to his normal size with such force he can smash through diamonds. So if Adam increases his size too much while still within the microverse, he could blow up the entire fabric of reality from the inside.
Nigga, what? Antman versus who? Atom. The microverse exists in all matter in the main universe within the orrery of worlds. It may even extend as far as Speed Force Wall, which is slated to be the limit to matter. By the DC multiverse map, this would encompass infinite universes, timelines, even higher dimensions, and would fall short of transcendental realms beyond this, such as the spheres of God. Nigga, Adam is winning this. I don't.
Shrinking down to that size means that he can.
This is not even a fair matchup, bro.
Themselves.
Yep, Ray can take individual molecules and rapidly expand them to
This is not a fair
small
matchup at all.
nuclear blast in the palm of his hand. Oh, Ray Palmer. I just got that.
He also once disarmed a bomb by rearranging its atoms. At that size, he can move at the velocity of light. So fast and so randomly, he basically acted as a barrier between any and all possible atom combinations. But come on, there's no scientific explanation here for him to have superhuman senses or awareness to comprehend being everywhere at the same time.
Ah, it makes total sense. If you're small enough, you can fit in almost everything, everywhere, all at once. Like how you can fit an entire pizza into a calzone, and then you have a whole pizza everywhere inside the calzone. Man, I get it. Science is pizza.
No! Science is all I have! Why are you doing this to me?
This nigga
On top
Boop's
of all
hungry as
Ray's
shit.
amazing inventions and abilities, he's also got some more classic weapons, like a laser blaster and a freaking sword he used to fight a giant crocodile. Relative to his size.
That was when Ray was believed to be dead, but was actually just stuck at 6 inches tall and stranded in the Amazon rainforest, where he encountered an alien race known as the Catarthans.
And get this, he ended up leading a
See, move the white dwarf star fragment. Hits with the force of a white dwarf star. Thinks and moves at the velocity of light. Became a million possible quanta. Survived the vacuum of space for 10 seconds. Took a de-adhesion beam that disintegrated Flash, Wonder Woman, Superman, and... Bro, this is not a fair matchup, bro. This is really honestly not a fair matchup. What is this? What the fuck? Defeated Kronos, the Time Thief, the Bug-Eyed Bandit Stroke.
rebellion against their tyrant king and became
All right,
the ruler
man.
of all the Kardashians.
And his heroism didn't stop there. The Atom was a very well-respected hero, and was even asked to join the Justice League of America shortly after it was formed.
He fought alongside Batman and his best bud, Hawkman. And you don't fight with those guys without picking up a thing or two.
Impressive combat skills
And
aside,
Olympic level
Adam's
gymnast.
greatest contribution to the legendary team was always his incredible mind.
He once created
Ant-Man still win
kryptonite
'cause he can
inside of
bench 2
Superman by
cockillion pounds
realizing that
of
if he
shit.
gathered up enough Kryptonian protons, they would eventually
Yeah.
become radioactive.
While stranded in limbo, Adam realized that if the Flash sped up the rate of a nuclear reaction's stellar evolution to exhaust its core, they could turn a fire demon into a black hole and use it as a wormhole to get back to Earth.
He's a brilliant, hard-working, and determined scientist that never stops working on a problem until he's found a solution. I mean, if I figured out how to blow stuff up as well as he did, I would have stopped right there. I'm the hero that blows stuff up. Wouldn't even need to change my name.
Ray Palmer lived the dream, going from research scientist to legendary superhero. He picked up the pieces presented to him and built something greater than the sum of its parts.
Who knew this tiny titan with massive brains would have just as much brawn to back it up?
Alright, man.
This episode.
Alright.
Alright, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
Oh boy.
You should pick on someone your own size, relatively speaking.
How did you do this? It's laced with a particle I've never seen before.
They're called Pym particles, and I'm Hank Pym, Scientist Supreme. You should have knocked.
Oh shit.
You're using pieces of a white dwarf star? That's cute.
Everything we needed already existed. You just needed to be smart enough to put the pieces together.
I've never been that
Scientist
buff.
Supreme?
I don't know, man. I don't read the comics.
Did you know that at any given moment, there are about 2.5 million ants under your feet?
I mean, that makes sense, but why are you bringing that up right now?
Okay, the fuck? Oh.
Took you long enough.
What?
Okay, let's try.
What the fuck? Oh shit!
I'll hack his belt. You lay low and let me know what you find. Huh?
Nice try. If I search every electron path in his
What
gun
the
and study the
fuck?
probability wave functions, I just might be able to.
Oh my god, they're in the microverse. Big man fight!
What's happening? He must be reaching his limit. If we don't get out of here quick, he's gonna destroy all of reality. Now, my pets!
But I had to say yes, please.
You have your tricks and your tools, but I created something beyond the limits of human existence. I operate on a scale you can't even comprehend.
What the fuck?
How?
You can't be afraid to think big.
What the fuck?
Ant-Man and Atom both had many answers to each other's abilities and arsenals. Both were able to store various weapons at a shrunken
Told you? What do you mean told me? Ant-Man just won. I mean, yeah, Ant-Man just won. Oh, yeah, you mean, okay, that's it. Oh, shit. Wait, okay, let's see. Okay, so let's analyze this real quick. So, okay, yeah, this is obviously a fact. I was thinking, okay, maybe Ant-Man might just win because I think he is smarter than Adam. So, I mean, I had that. I'm like, okay, this nigga definitely. I mean, he figured out the whole quantum realm and all that shit, and you know, like I was like, okay, this might be his. This is like one of his like #1 advantages. That's how I kind of had an idea that he might. But look at Adam's feats. I was like, bro, this nigga has what the fuck? Well, let me look all this real quick. So smarter, stronger and more durable. Powers come from his body naturally. Okay, fair. Much larger arsenal. Can arguably shrink smaller at worse stalemates. And are similar in speed. Adam, let me see. Can control the density of his size. Can affect the probability of some of Hank's weapons. Cannot grow larger than his natural height. Okay, I see. Biobelt is susceptible to hacking. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I see. Less examples of shrinking to size as Hank has attained. Okay. Alright, that makes more sense.
state. Both were trained in judo, and they both could obviously keep up with each
That
other's
makes more
ability
sense,
to
man.
shrink at will.
Though there was one small thing Adam couldn't
Hank can reasonably replicate many of Ray's abilities, including riding on beams of light, which even Scott Lang has done on occasion.
answer to. The ants! Hank's bond with his pets lent him some small advantages, and Ray just didn't have enough anti-ant tools in
Ants
his
infiltrate
bio belt.
technology.
But in Adam's defense, the fact that he could punch with a fist packed with all of his mass
That
meant
makes
that a
sense.
close-up fight, while small, would leave Hank with few options since he can only punch with his normal human strength.
Even still, all Ant-Man would need to do is keep his dissed ants with the help of his insect confidants and devise another plan of ant-tack. Something Hank has no
Hank has outfitted hundreds of his ants with image inducer technology, giving him ample ways to fool Ray into a multitude of traps.
shortage of.
For instance, Ant-Man could alter Adam's size thanks to the Pym particle field he generates. Hank would just need to stall long enough to remove or disable Adam's biobelt, and he's had no trouble hacking enemy tech in the past.
But even with the bio belt busted, it wouldn't stop Adam's ability to shrink since the white dwarf power is contained throughout his suit. Destroying the belt only meant that Ant-Man could alter Adam's size.
Whereas Hank has literally rewritten his own biology.
While Hank and Ray could both shrink smaller than concepts, only Hank had the means to counteract this by forcing Adam into a larger size. Pym particles are also microscopic within underspace, meaning Ray could not shrink between them.
to prevent outside size alteration. And while Adam's abilities are definitely impressive, they are limited, and Ant-Man simply aren't, at least by comparison. Hank could always match Ray's size or just take the fight to the overspace where he would have the edge, both physically and mentally.
The overspace can mess with the human mind, but we've seen that Hank can handle it.
But if the Scientist Supreme is really so smart, why didn't he just immediately go up Adam's butt and blow him up from the inside?
What's
Hey,
wrong,
yo!
Biz? Aren't you a fellow man of science?
This is the meanest thing you've ever done to me.
Adam sized up Ant-Man, but in the end, he was the one who had to say, Uncle.
The winner is Ant-Man.
You know, I just remembered. Y'all ever watch The Boys, bro? Bro. Bro. Y'all remember that one scene in The Boys where that one dude could shrink? He went. I think he went into like some dude's dick or whatever. I think he sneezed, and then like when he sneezed, he literally the whole dude's like he exploded, bro. The nigga exploded or some shit. Y'all ever see that shit? Oh my god, that shit was crazy. The Boys is a crazy show. Oh my god.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. We have a new death battle releasing
What's the
every
next
2
one?
weeks this year. And click the join button to
What's
get
the
new
next
perks and
one?
extra content. Planet level members even see death
Who
battles
fighting?
before anyone else, so don't miss out.
Alright, people who I care about. Dark Souls versus Scott Zeno. Chosen Undead versus Dragonborn. Zeno. You gotta be there for that when we watch it. Oh my god. Dark Souls and Skyrim. Interesting shit.